this lesson, we deal with Home Ministry and Finance Ministry because they are important among all the ministries. Introduction to the lesson. The executive authority of the government is vested in the President. Article 53 of the Constitution says that the executive power of the Union shall be vested in the President and shall be exercised by him either directly or through officers subordinate to him in accordance with the Constitution. Executive organization of the department. The Secretariat is responsible for policy making functions of the government. Below the Secretariat, there is the executive organization led by head of the department. The head of the Secretariat organization, that is Secretary, is not, technically speaking, the head of the department. He is the chief advisor to the government for the formulation of policies. Basically, his duties are of a staff nature rather than line work. The executive organization is the line machinery of the department or ministry and is also termed as a department with its own head, who is officially called the head of the department. Such executive heads are designated differently in different departments. Generally, he is called director or director general, but there are also designations such as inspector general, advisor, commissioner, etc. Ministries and departments of the government. The government consists of a number of ministries and departments. The number nature varies from time to time on factors such as volume of work, importance attached to certain items, orientation, political expediency, etc. On 15th August 1947, the number of ministries at the center was 18. Ministry of Home Affairs. The Ministry of Home Affairs is one of the 4 oldest departments set up along with the Ministry of Military, Finance and Foreign Affairs by a resolution of Governor General in Council on 29th April 1843. The Home Department was placed under charge of a secretary. The department was entrusted with the functions of a heterogeneous nature such as internal law and order, political matters, civil services, police, jails, explosive factories, education, public works, public health, hospitals and municipalities, etc. With the passage of time, new departments emerged and many subjects were subsequently transferred to separate departments. In recent years, functions related to personnel and administrative reforms were taken away from Home Ministry and given to the Department of Personnel. Even now, it is considered one of the most important ministries in the Government of India. Organization. The ministry is headed by a Home Minister who is usually a senior leader and is assisted by 2 Ministers of State. The Home Secretary, who is a senior member of the IAS, is the administrative head of the ministry. He heads many important committees and many Home Secretaries became Cabinet Secretaries and some of them have even become Governors of States after retirement. For example, S.L. Khurana, who was the Home Secretary, became the Governor of Tamil Nadu after his retirement. M.L. Wali became the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi. L.P. Singh, a former Home Secretary, also became Governor of a state. The Secretary is assisted by additional secretaries, joint secretaries, directors, deputy secretaries, special assistants, under secretaries, section officers and other such staff. Presently, the ministry has 6 departments, namely Border Management, Internal Security, Jammu and Kashmir Affairs, Home and Official Language. It also controls the allied organizations such as the Intelligence Bureau, the Bureau of Police Research and Development, the Institute of Criminology and Forensic Science, the National Crime Records Bureau, the Directorate of Coordination, Police Wireless, and the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy functions. Number 1. Law and order. Although law and order is a state subject in our constitution, yet the Ministry of Home Affairs monitors trends and developments having a bearing on law and order, including communal harmony. It also renders necessary guidance and assistance to the states and union territories whenever required. When violent incidents cause disruption of normal life, central security forces may be deployed to keep the law and order under control. To control the extremist activities of the Ulfa in Assam, anti-national elements in Jammu and Kashmir, and the terrorist activities in Punjab, security forces were made available to the state government. The ministry extended assistance at the time of protests against the implementation of Mandal Commission's report and violent incidents due to Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid issue on 6th December 1992. 2. It administers the Indian Police Service and controls the IPS cadre. Therefore, it deals with service matters like appointment to IPS, deputation of police officers from states to center, their training such as Indo-Tibetan Border Police ITBP, the Border Security Force BSF, the Central Industrial Security Force CISF, Central Reserve Police Force, Rapid Action Force, Anti-Riot Force established on 7th October 1992 to control communal flare-up, National Security Guards NSG and the Assam Rifles, etc. Number 3. It conducts census every 10 years. Number 4. It deals with the matters relating to foreigners and citizenship. Next, it controls the attached and allied organizations like Intelligence Bureau, the National Police Academy, the Bureau of Police Research and Development, and the Institute of Criminology, Forensic Science, etc. It deals with the matters related to the jail or prison administration and reforms. Next, the ministry works for the proper maintenance of center-state relations and is responsible for imposition of President's rule in the states whenever required. The ministry formulates programs and schemes for relief and rehabilitation of displaced persons. The ministry has a Hindi Salahakar Samiti which reviews the progress of use of Hindi as an official language in the government offices and its attached and subordinate offices. The ministry is also responsible for the administration and development of union territories. The ministry is concerned with appointments to most of the high positions like governors, lieutenant governors, chief commissioners, members of the interstate commission, etc. It issues notification of appointments and resignations of the president, vice president, prime minister and other ministers. It is the Home Secretary who reads out the notifications of the appointment of the president at the oath-taking ceremony of the new president. The ministry also deals with the subjects like the Padma Shri Awards and Jeevan Raksha Award medals, sanction of pension to the freedom fighters, grant of Indian citizenship, preparation of warrant of precedence and list of national holidays, publication of the Gazette of India, etc. Setting up inquiry commissions, national flag, the national anthem, the national emblem, cases of nomination of members to the Council of States, matters relating to grant of pardons, reprieves, suspension or commutation of a sentence of death by the President, emergency relief, creation of new states, and matters connected with code of conduct of the ministers. Role of the Ministry of Home Affairs. The ministry commands respects for its uniqueness, and senior politicians have been appointed as home ministers. Although its functions have been reduced after the creation of Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pension and Ministry of Welfare in 1985, but its pivotal stature in the Union Cabinet still continues. Let us examine its role now. Although the ministers are allotted portfolios by the President on the recommendation of the Prime Minister, but the senior-most politician after the Prime Minister is often given the Ministry of Home Affairs. Past experience shows that the minister was a divided one from the very beginning because of the Prime Minister considered strong Home Minister as his or her rival. During the emergency, Brahmananda Reddy, who was the Home Minister, remained so only in name. All the powers were exercised by the Minister of State, Om Mehta, nicknamed Home Mehta, during S.B. Chavan's period as Home Minister, when Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister, effectively managed all the affairs of the ministry. Later, when V.P. Singh was the Prime Minister, Mufti Muhammad Sayeed was Home Minister, but his junior Minister of State, Subodh Kant Sahe, handled Ayodhya matters and also charge of Punjab, Jharkhand, Northeast and Kashmir were given to George Fernandez, who was also Minister of Railways. Therefore, it was commented that at least on one count, the National Front government is no different from the previous two regimes, and that is the manner in which the Home Ministry is run. More specifically, it is the question of who runs the ministry. Again, when P.V. Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister, S.B. Chavan as Home Minister was sidelined by Rajesh Pilot, Junior Minister of State in the Home Ministry. The Prime Minister did not intervene in their battle. Not only this, Rajesh Pilot was also asked to attend the cabinet meetings even when the Home Minister was present. This encouraged Rajesh Pilot to oppose proposals of the ministry duly approved by the Home Ministry for submission to the cabinet. The Home Minister, keeping in view the fragile communal situation after the Ayodhya incident, had proposed to ban the 25th February 1993 mass rally of the BJP in the capital. Keeping in view the experience of Ayodhya, the BJP leadership could not be trusted to keep the rally peaceful. But in 3 out of 4 cabinet meetings in which the issue of banning the BJP rally was discussed, Rajesh Pilot opposed the proposal of the ministry. This clearly shows that Prime Ministers do not like Home Ministers to be strong. In spite of such politics, the Home Ministry still enjoys the status next to the Prime Minister. Now, Ministry of Finance. In a parliamentary democracy, an effective administrative control over the receipts and expenditure of the government is very important. In India, Ministry of Finance is responsible for the management of finances of the Union Government. It prepares budget proposals for submission to the Cabinet and for final approval by the Parliament. Thus, it regulates the expenditure of the Union Government as well as the transfer of resources to the states. History. The time of origin of the ministry may be traced to 1810, when the Government of India created a Department of Finance The department did not have a full-time secretary till 1843. The finance secretary was responsible for conducting the entire financial operations of India. After independence in 1947, the finance department was designated as the Ministry of Finance. It had three major wings: 1. Expenditure, 2. Economic Affairs, and Revenue. In 1949, the Ministry of Finance was reorganized into two departments: Department of Revenue and Expenditure and Department of Economic Affairs. It was further reorganized in 1958, 1964, 1966, 1969, 1970 and 1985. Organization. At present, the ministry has a cabinet minister in charge who is assisted by a minister of state. The final decision regarding the number of junior ministers assisting the finance minister rests with the Prime Minister. The secretary is the administrative head of the ministry. Each department of the finance ministry has a secretary as its head and is assisted by additional secretary, joint secretary, deputy secretary, director, under secretary and other secretarial staff. The senior positions in the ministry are manned by the IAS, but the service base of the officers in the Ministry of Finance is broader. In addition to the IAS, the ministry has officers from Indian Revenue Service, Indian Audit and Account Service, etc. A large number of positions at the middle level are occupied by Central Secretariat Service personnel. Department of Economic Affairs. The Department of Economic Affairs is responsible for monitoring current economic trends and advising the government on all matters relating to internal and external economic management, including the working of commercial banks, term lending institutions, external assistance, production of currency or bank notes and kinds of various departments, postal stationery, postal stamps, etc. This department has finance, currency and coinage and administration. Each division performs functions as per their nomenclatures. The department has under it 2 attached offices, 3 subordinate offices, 3 public undertakings and 3 boards. Department of Expenditure. Direct Benefit Transformation, Establishment Division, State Finance Division, Plan Finance 1, Plan Finance 2 Division, Procurement Policy Division, Staff Inspection Unit, Pay Research Unit, Office of Chief Advisor, Cost Control General of Accounts, National Institute of Financial Management, NIFM, Central Pension Accounting Office, CPAO, Office of Chief Controller of Accounts. The principal activities of the department include pre-sanction appraisal of major schemes or projects, both plan and non-plan, expenditure, handling the bulk of the central budgetary resources transferred to states, implementation of the recommendations of the finance and central pay commissions, overseeing the expenditure management in the central ministries or departments. Through the interference with the financial advisors and the administration of the financial rules or regulations or orders, through monitoring of audit, comments, observations. Preparation of central government accounts, managing the financial aspects of personnel management in the central government, assisting central ministries or departments in controlling the costs and prices of public services, assisting organizational re-engineering through review of staffing patterns and O&M studies, and reviewing systems and procedures to optimize outputs and outcomes of public expenditure. Department of Revenue. The Department of Revenue, under the charge of Secretary Revenue, exercises administrative control in respect of matters relating to all the direct and indirect union taxes through two statutory boards under it, namely the Central Board of Direct Taxes CBDT and the Central Board of Excise and Customs CBEC. Each board has a chairman and 6 members who are ex officio additional secretaries to Government of India. It also performs various statutory functions under the Income Tax Act 1961, the Wealth Tax 1957, the Gift Tax Act 1958 and the Expenditure Tax Act 1987. This board functions through several attached and subordinate offices, revenue intelligence, and investigates economic offence and economic law enforcement. In brief, the Ministry of Finance performs the main functions of policy formulation, administration of finance, raising necessary revenue, control entire government expenditure, etc. Summary. The work of government increased due to planned economy and social welfare activities. Hence, the number of departments have also increased. But to maintain the size of the ministry small, it has become necessary to group a number of departments into a single ministry. As a result, many ministries have now more than one department with a secretary as the head of each department. Therefore, a minister now has more than one secretary to supervise. Therefore, in addition to the traditional departmental organizations, a number of other forms like company, corporations, etc. have come up to perform the governmental functions. The expansion of the business activities of the government has given birth to 2 new forms of organizations: government companies and statutory corporations. Now some questions. Number 3. Describe the organization structure of the Ministry of Finance. Next, what are the roles played by the different functionaries in the smooth operation of the government machinery in the Secretariat? Next, what is the basis on which the various government departments are organized?